What's going on, y'all? Thanks for checking in with Callie. Please like, subscribe if you haven't already. So, it's the offseason for the Clippers, and they have to try to make some moves if they can. Now, I've been hearing some other news, I would say, about some trades. You heard me talk about the one with Kevin Durant and some other trades out there, but we'll see how close or how solidified they are based upon, the forward progress of them. But as of right now, former Clippers star player has some very, very, I would say, interesting comments about James Harden's gameplay in Game 7. Paul George, he spoke on James Harden and in an article, in part of his podcast as well. And it was in an article also that, Paul George was basically saying that James Harden's gift basically is his curse. And, in so many ways, I can agree. I just don't agree with this coming from Paul George. Now, we all know, or some of us know, he started up his podcast again, Podcast P. So that's where you're hearing this from more so. And he was just basically saying, yeah, James Harden's gift is his curse. Because James Harden does a lot of things well. Sometimes he goes into games not knowing whether he should be a facilitator or a scorer. And I can definitely see that. But at the same time, if we're speaking about a Game 7, the big moments, the time where you need to step up, James Harden knows what the hell he needs to do. He knows he needs to be a scorer. If other people could see it who don't even play in the NBA and know the magnitude of a playoff game, and not even ever been in one, just because they're fans or spectators or media people, whatever, then because James Harden is an NBA player and been playing in the league for a long time, he knows what Game 7 means. And I don't like this comment by Paul George really because you're trying to give James Harden a pass and there's no pass to be given. A Game 7 is everything on the line. There's no strategy no more. There's no anything. There's no game planning. It's all heart, will, and determination and effort. That's what it is in the Game 7. And if you're a superstar caliber player, you need to go out there and put your best foot forward and be a scorer that we know of James Harden to be. We know he can facilitate, but he's known for scoring because back in the day when he was on Houston, he didn't have 20 assists with 10 points. He had games where it was 60 points with 14, 15 assists. He was a dominant force in the regular season all the time back then. The playoffs was his Achilles heel. And James Harden knows that. So in a Game 7 of this magnitude, he had a chance to rectify it, and he didn't. He came up short, as he always does, chokes. And there's no denying it. You can look at it however you want to, but it's a choke job. You cannot be in a game of that magnitude and don't show up. I mean, even though Kawhi really didn't play his best, he still had 22 points on 9 of 15 for shooting. If the team wouldn't have gave up on him, he would have had 30 plus points easily. But the main thing that Kawhi probably looked at, his number 2 guy wasn't there to show up. And he didn't even want it. He didn't even want to be a part of the reason why they won. It's like James Harden wanted to be a part of the reason why they lost. He tries to go out there and assist the ball when they need the scoring James Harden, like they had in Game 6. That's what they needed in Game 7. See, James Harden is one of those players who's not built for pressure I guess Paul George doesn't know that because Paul George isn't either. So I guess it's the reason why he's sticking up for one of his, former co-workers, if you might want to say that. But Paul George, you're the same player. The only difference is, I will say, Paul George would have jacked up a lot more shots, which honestly, in hindsight, that would have been better for James Harden to do. Don't go out there and take 10 shots or less. Go out there and shoot 16, 17 shots or more and apply yourself and try to win. And James Harden didn't do that because he's scared of the moment and he's scared to be the reason why his team lost. And Kobe Bryant said years ago, the play style that James Harden plays doesn't win championships. He could fill up a stat sheet. He could do a lot of things. But when it comes to the moments of, getting your guys involved at the right time and being dominant at the right time in the game, James Harden doesn't mentally put all that together. So in some aspect, I would say Paul George, kind of has a point. His gift is his curse because he can do a lot of things. He just doesn't put it all together in big moments to where it really amounts to anything. Who gives a damn about the regular season and putting up all those numbers that he did throughout the years? And he did win an MVP, and he was a dominant type player. But Houston never won a championship. They never been to a finals when he was the guy there. And no team he's been on besides OKC been to the finals, but he was a sixth man coming off the bench, and he was a rookie way back then in the league. Kevin Durant and Russ was the guys, not him. So they carried that load, really. And he just chipped in as being a pretty good sixth man off the bench to give them energy and scored pretty decently well also. But that's not good enough to win championships. So that's the reason why the Clippers are in the predicament they are now, sitting at home, wondering what could have been if James Harden came out there aggressive the way he was in Game 6. Maybe Game 7 goes a lot differently. If he scores 25-plus points, I think Kawhi has 30-plus points. That's a whole different game. Whole different game. Who knows if they would have won, but it would have been a lot more respectable of a loss rather than how they went out. And Paul George is trying to be a good guy to defend him, but you're in no predicament to defend anybody because you're the same type player. You choke in big moments, and you and James Harden really has been Kawhi's downfall. Kawhi got all this help to the Clippers. Now, unfortunately, he couldn't stay healthy some of those years. That's not his fault. But this year, he was healthy. Couldn't do it. In the bubble, Kawhi was healthy. Didn't have help from Paul George. Couldn't do it. Two of the very same players that Kawhi had opportunities to win and the Clippers had opportunities to better themselves in the playoffs and go further. James Harden, Paul George, choked, as they always do. So that's it in a nutshell. The Clippers really need to get rid of James Harden because the system is broke down. It was never really a system. It wasn't even an enterprise. It wasn't even anything. It was just a player who was tossed around from team to team because other teams see he's not the player you need in big moments. The Clippers took a chance on him, and he tricked them. And he let them down. And that's what James Harden is, and that's what he always will be. So you can slice it how you want to. I'm not saying it's all James Harden's fault because it's a team effort. They got to play as a team. They win as a team, they lose as a team. But when your second best player don't show up in a big game like that, how do the Clippers win in a hostile environment such as Denver?